burgundy red.
We're here at the Eddie's, looking at the rear end he painted for me. I mean, you didn't have to go that crazy.
I mean, not that crazy, trust me. I want that.
Why you painting over the zoom tag? The one thing I told you not to paint over.
I'll clean it off with some thinner.
Nah, it looks good. Yeah. It's nice to have a guy with a booth next door. He's got a little bit of talent.
It's nice to have a guy next over to the machine shop. I can go in my head, my block home, and get it done.
Yeah, you can come over here and get some head, all right. All right, now we just get the frame looking like that. Now we just get the body painted. And we'll
Body's getting painted sooner.
Okay. I know, we got time for that. I mean, I don't want to tell you we have time, but.
I know we got time. Who's building the motor?
What's going to the track this weekend?
Probably nothing. It's gonna rain again.
I'm ready to see this one run.
Oh, me too. Me too.
No.
It's either gonna be really good or really bad. I'm more excited about the kids stuff.
They race this weekend?
No. Better not get these in the video.
What's up, fellas? Thursday evening in the shop, about 6:30. Got the TV on, watching the IHRA Spring Nationals. Top dragster qualifying right now. Been a pretty busy week with shop work. Got a new acquisition this week for a piece of equipment I brought in. Something I've been looking to do for quite a while. In this spot, if you jogged through some of the videos before, I had a big manual jig bore mill that I sold a couple of weeks ago and was looking to replace it with a CNC, add another CNC mill. This piece of equipment here I picked up this week. This is it's a Vette brand. And, you know, I'm funny about my brand of machinery. This definitely isn't my brand. I mean, if I had my way, I'd have a Morosiki or a OKK or a Karaki in here. But this was available, and the one thing that I liked about this machine was that it had a FANUC or FANUC control, you might want to call it. I call it a FANUC. It has the OM control, which was a pretty nifty control. The O series was a mainstay for FANUC for quite a while. The M stands for mill. They made the same one in an OT, which T stood for turning for the lathe. So I was looking for a stout CNC programmable knee mill, and the Vectrax wasn't on my short list. I was looking at some Hercos. I actually owned a Herco years ago. The Herco has a nice control, but they're not that stout. I was looking for a Tree brand mill. Problem with the Trees, they have a Dynapath control that I don't care for. I really wanted something with a FANUC control. The FANUC is a plain G-code control, and you could pretty much point to point, circle, interpolate, do just about anything with it. I'm familiar with it. I've ran the FANUC control on many CNCs I own throughout my different tool and die businesses that I've had. So that was a requisite. I really wanted something with a FANUC control. Unfortunately, the Vectrax isn't a great name machine, but again, everything I was looking at was far away, Midwest or back up north, New Jersey, Connecticut, and this one was right in town. And a quick story with this machine. this machine came out of a local plant in the area. That the name of the business was called Dell Labs. I don't exactly know what they did at Dell Labs, but it was a bigger company, employed quite a few people, and I believe one of my friends, and I think might even check out my videos. His name's Jeff Waters, fellow racer and machinist mechanic. I believe he worked at Dell Labs at one time and ran this machine. And I'm going to reach out to him, see if he remembers anything about it. But back in the day, MSC, which stood for Manhattan Supply Company, they had these machines, I guess, built for them under the Vette company and sold in the MSC catalogs. And this, I believe, is a vintage of the late 90s, probably around a 97, 98, maybe even as late as a 2000. But I think it's a late 90s. And these machines in the late 90s went for, $25,000, $30,000. They weren't cheap by no means. And ironically, when it left Dell Labs, it went into another local shop. I'm not going to mention his name. He's an older guy. I don't know if he wanted a CNC. This was his first CNC, and I don't think he ever did anything with it. But at the time, I was booked with work, and I needed a machine to run some die plates on. And I rented this machine from him and made some dies on it for a customer. I really think I was the last one that ran this machine. I made these dies for a company up in Jacksonville, a guy that was hooked up on the Marine Corps base. And anyway, that's a whole other story. I made some dies on it. The guy who had the machine had no use for it after I did the dies. I tried buying it from him, and me and him couldn't settle on a price, and he ended up selling it to another local guy about 5 miles from here. And just the last few weeks when I sold the other boring mill and I was looking for a CNC knee mill, I thought of this machine, and I said, where the hell did this machine go? And actually, my old man knew where it went. He said, I think it went up to a place called Hanover Iron Works. And the guy bought it up there, and I don't think the guy ever did anything with it. I said, well, what the hell? Let's shoot up there for lunch and see if the machine's still there. And lo and behold, it was there in the back, all covered with dust. I don't think that guy ever ran it. Now, that guy bought it after I finished those die plates. We're talking maybe back around 2010. This other guy bought it, and it's sat doing nothing since. And that guy actually paid $4,000 for it from the previous owner. Well, I went in there and asked him what he was doing with it. He said, nothing, you want it? I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind having it. I said, it's not really my brand, but it's close, and if the price is right. And he said, well, make me an offer. Well, I didn't want to piss him off, so I said, I don't know, what do you want for it? He said, well, you give me $1,200. I did like Mike Wolf on Pickers, put my hand out and said, deal. So my buddy Cameron Norris came with his flatbed yesterday. We picked it up. That was the first little video. We brought it in today, and Colby, a new guy, was cleaning her up. And I'll just give you a primer why I bought it and what do I want to do with it. So I want to automate some of the machining operations for the blocks we do. This machine is of a knee mill design, which is okay. I would have rather had a bed mill, but I like the way the head's built here, where compared to like my Bridgeport back there, where the head tilts and rotates. This is a fixed head, so it's a lot stouter than the Bridgeport. It has a 40 taper spindle, which is a lot stouter than an R8 taper on a Bridgeport. And this has a quill. This has a quill, and it has a quill meaning like a drill press. The head doesn't move up and down. The quill will come out like the ram, like on the boring bar. And this has 7 inches of travel, which is quite a bit of travel for a quill machine, so that's good. The table, we have 38 inches of working X travel and 17 inches of Y travel in and out. Now the knee, it has a power knee. The knee goes up and down. Right now the knee's all the way at the bottom. So it's a little short for what I want to do with engine blocks. I'm going to fixture up a manual rotary table, and I'm going to fasten blocks on the table, and I'm going to automate and set up so I could program the top fuel hoops that we're going to do in the top of cylinders of blocks. I'm going to set up my head fixture so we could do the hoops and the receiver grooves on the cylinder heads. My big manual boring mill, which we use for cam tunnels and line boring, I'm going to move the line boring over to here, and I'm going to do it by programming it. And the way I'm going to do that, they've come really down in price on the right angle attachments, the real slimline right angles. So instead of doing the line boring, again, we have a line hone here. The line hone is a finishing machine, just like, you know, when you're cylinder honing, you have to bore the block first, and after you bore it, you finish it on your hone. Well, the proper way to do main cap repair, you have to line bore. And that big manual mill we had, it was big, awkward. It was a way to get it done, but it was something only I can do. I want to make some tooling up so I could save some programs, and I could show Anthony how to do this and make it, make some of these operations go a lot faster. So it's a 5-horse spindle, has AC servo drives. I think this is really going to be really cool to do some of the operations I want to do. Lifter bore bushings is going to be awesome for that. Instead of doing it manually, it'll be programmable. So I'll be able to do many operations on engine blocks, and even some of the repair on the aluminum blocks we do, like programming the cutout for the windows, like this particular block here that had the rod through it. I could sit it up there, fixture it down, and program it to mill out the sections for putting the side pieces in that we would build. I still got the big Mazak machining center back here, and that's more of a production machine. It's awkward to try to get a block in there, and we have done some block and head work on this, but this machine is more or less dedicated for part manufacturing, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get a CNC open mill or a CNC knee mill, just for the fact that we could roll the engine hoist right up to it, fixture the block on it, and like I said, I'm gonna make some tooling similar to like my block true tooling that we use on the Blockmaster for decking blocks. Now I could deck a block on this or deck a head. I don't need to, because we have a CBN cylinder head decker, and we got a Blockmaster, and we even got an old rotary broach over there, that red Van Norman machine. But if we need to be, I think it's going to be good for, like I said, for the top fuel hoops and doing O-ringing. So instead of plunging with a fly cutter, I could come down here with an end mill, I could write a program, and I could circle interpolate it. And then all I have to do, once the block's indicated, I could just program the bore spacing. Like if it was a Chevrolet block, like a small block, 4-inch 400, just move over to the next hole, 4-inch 400. A big block, 4-inch 840, or a Hemi, 4-inch 800. What I think I'm going to do, because we're a little shy, right now the knee is all the way down, and I only have about 18 inches of working travel. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to unbolt this ram, and I'm going to build a riser block. Thinking about doing like a 6-inch riser to bring the head up, because I'm not using this to make parts. I don't need the spindle to come down and touch the table, and the table's a little dirty. We're going to get some WD on there and some Scotch-Brite, clean it all up. Like I said, we pulled the weight covers off it just so we can check it all out. And tomorrow I'm going to try to wire her in and see if I can get it lubed up and jogged around and make sure she still works. But they make similar machines this day and age, Centroids and Rottler, and if you look at the bare bones machine, Rottler and Centroid, they're buying somebody's knee mill. They're not manufacturing the milling machine. And those machines are like $250,000. It's a nice dream to think that I could have something like that someday, but with a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of devising some fixturing and $1,200. Hey, how could I not get it? And honestly, that old manual boring mill that was there, that big gray machine that was in its place, I bought that up at HGR for $500, sold it for $1,800, and took the $1,800 and bought this for $1,200. And like I said, my buddy Cameron, he went over there, didn't charge me a dime. He's a good friend of mine. He took care of me because he knows we're a struggling wannabe funny car race team. So hey, every little bit of help is accounted for. And but I just wanted to show you guys that we brought it in today with the forklift. Forklift got her in. It's right at 5,100 pounds. The forklift is 5,000 pound capacity. So like everything else I do, it's right to the limit. So I'm kind of excited about having another CNC mill. And yeah, it's not the brand I would have wanted, but again, it was local. The price was right, and honestly, I don't think they use it out of Dell Labs much at all. Even though it's well, you know, a 26, 27-year-old machine, even though 2000 doesn't seem that long ago, it seems like it's in really nice shape. The ways are in nice shape. Not only are the ways in nice shape, but it's a box weigh machine instead of a dovetail. So that's nice and stout. Again, 40 taper spindle. I think it's going to work well for what we want to do for our block repair. You know, we won't bore blocks on it, but like I said, lifter bushings, line boring, cam tunnels, maybe doing some work cutting out for mid sleeves on some of the Coyote motors. But the main thing is to you know, for the Hemi blocks, the repair for the window repair. But that's what I've been doing today for the last couple days. Between that and I did get my other crank balanced up. If you watched the last video where we scrapped that 3-inch 750, I got my 4-inch 150 spline nose crank in. I'm gonna look for some drive parts. I got a piston rod in there, and we just mocked it up just to make sure everything's clearing like it should. And so far, so good. Moving along there. Went over to the Eddies, and he got the rear end painted for the Vette. So I got a few little things to work on. But tonight, I'm gonna try to catch up on a little bit of customer work. One of the brownies is running back there, kicking out some parts. And I said I missed some time yesterday bringing this mill in. So I'll try to get something done tonight and watch another race that we're missing up at Hebron. I think that's how they say it. Hebron, Ohio. I guess that was the old National Trail up in Ohio, Columbus. But we're going to get there. We'll persevere. All right, guys. So that's it for now. I'll check in with you this weekend if I got something cool to show you. Take care.